All right, y'all. Welcome back and happy Sunday. Today, we're going to be updating y'all on Tennessee's 2026 class. Please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. So we just added two more players. I think that they're really good. This is how the class looks at this point with on three. So we are currently ranked number 15th, sixth in the SEC. Blue chip ratio is at 54%. That actually came down some, but it's several blue chip players that will be choosing Tennessee, I believe, over like the next week or two. Really, next week's going to be huge. So let's get down to Legend Bay right here. Okay, we will be looking at some of his clips. He is a four-star athlete, and he's going to be playing wide receiver, but I think he's kind of a gadget piece. And then also Zayden Anderson, three-star, but I love his game, and we'll scroll through the rest so that y'all can see everybody else that we've added to this class. All right, so now let's take a look at how Tennessee stacks up with the team rankings with on three. All right, so it's the same three. Well, actually, you know what? A&M, they were at number 2. Georgia's now up at number 2. Also, look at how many commits these classes have, right? So USC's probably done. Georgia's close to done. Really, all these teams, they're very close to being done. You're typically going to see about 25 players in every class. Now, that's going to fluctuate every year, okay, just based off of the team's needs and all that good stuff. Now, I could also see this season because we have, 20 more scholarships, not for next year, but for 2026, all right? So we're going to have more scholarships in the SEC. I could see potentially these classes going up to maybe like 30, right? But Tennessee's sitting at 13. So, 15th place with 13 players. We are going to add, I'd say, at least another 10 guys. So we could definitely shoot up and possibly get into that top 10. Now, this is 24/7 Sports. Y'all know that we were really low with 24/7 Sports. The top three is the same for both of these sites. Some of the stuff is going to be a little bit different. So coming on down, Tennessee, we got to come down, down. We got to come way down. All right, so Tennessee's at number 22. We was at last time, I think, was it 41 or something? Like we was in the 40s or like in the 30s, but we moved up a lot. Okay, so that's great news. Also, looking here, I think Florida's way up here at 15 with 24/7 Sports, but coming back to on three, you can see that Florida's actually under Tennessee. So I mean, listen, this is why I take the ratings and the rankings with a grain of salt. All right, and I think that most people should probably do the same thing. Biggest thing about it though is that you want to see where's Tennessee at relatively speaking with these sites. That's more of what my correlation is. All right, now let's take a quick look at the 2026 class breakdown. This will show you the star ratings for each of these spots that we're looking at. For me, it's not so much about these star rankings, y'all. It's about getting a player at each one of these spots in order that you feel like could come in and play some for you as a freshman if they had to. That's the way, to me, like that's the correlation between a 4 and a 5-star player, not so much some of the other stuff that these sites talk about. But Tennessee's already off to a pretty good start. Obviously, cornerback. Might want to add some better players there. We will be talking about Zayden Anderson, who I think is actually really good. Tackle, we still need to add some guys there. Running back, yes, we could add one, but it's not 100% necessary just because running backs are going to do well in this system, period, point blank. And then looking at number 8, with the guards and with the centers, this is more of like centers. I think Tennessee does want to try to bring in good centers. Not really every year, but at least every other year. Guard would probably be second to last. Safeties, obviously, I feel like Tennessee needs to close out and get some players that can come in and fight for some playing time as freshmen. All right, so now let's take a look at Tennessee's two newest pickups. So Zayden Anderson, man, from East Tennessee, I love his game. Listen, he's rated as a 3-star, but I mean, honestly speaking, he is super good. He's got the length. He's a 10-7 100-meter guy, so he's got great speed. He's really one of the most fluid cornerback prospects that I've seen. So I had to go through his film and separate all of his wide receiver clips from his cornerback clips. I think he's a good wide receiver too, but the level of competition that he's playing against, that's probably more of why he's only rated as a 3-star. But I'm seeing a whole lot of Ricky Gibson. You know what I mean? Like I think he's very similar from that standpoint, just with his coverage. And honestly speaking, I think that he crosses off every single like coverage box that a cornerback needs. Like I said, he's got great height. He has really, like long arms. He has good length. And he's just a really smooth and fluid athlete with getting in and out of breaks, flipping his hips and turning and running and making plays on footballs. Like his coverage, I think is about as high as it could be. The one thing that I haven't seen on his film, which doesn't mean that he doesn't have it, I just haven't seen him tackling. I haven't seen him having to be too physical with those types of things. As long as he's willing to be physical, he's going to be a very, very good cornerback. Like I said, think about a Ricky Gibson, just very similar with everything that I'm seeing here. So I think that this is a big pickup. Could he come in next year and actually get some playing time? I think that he definitely can. if he is physical. That's the only part that I haven't seen. But yes, coverage wise, he would step in and he would be on par with pretty much everybody else. So next, we have four-star athlete, Legend Bay. Tennessee got him to play like wide receiver to be that gadget piece. Obviously, he plays quarterback and he can throw the football. You're not going to see any of those clips in this one. But man, he is a strong dude, shorter guy, but he's stocky. He's really solid. And he's a 10-200 meter guy. That is insane. So going back to what the actual coaches look at, right? Track numbers, that's something that they covered very, very highly. So while on these sites, he's a four-star. With the actual coaching staffs, he probably would be more like a five-star because they love that type of speed. Also, you're seeing that he can make people miss. So he has everything, right? P and I keep on talking about, man, in 2021, 2022, Tennessee's wide receivers made plays. We haven't seen it too much since then, especially not last year. This room that we have going into 2025, everybody's going to be able to make plays. So we just keep on adding players like this that aren't just tall, long guys that can run fast in a straight line, but can also make you miss. So it's not just about, what is he going to be doing for the offense, but also special teams. He's a guy that for sure would be a great specialist, adding to this class. And once we get more towards the end of these clips, y'all are going to see him, running some routes and catching the football and all of that. I'm not quite sure what the staff saw with him as a wide receiver, obviously outside of what we just talked about. Have they, really seen him catching more? I don't know if he went to some camps up at Tennessee to see how he looks, but here you can tell, he's got what you want. Really good hands, also really big hands too. That is huge because he's not the tallest guy. Sometimes for the, shorter players, they don't have the biggest hands. But, guys like a Steve Smith, who was 5'9", played in the NFL for a long time, he had huge hands and he was just a flat out dog. I see a lot of similarities with Legend Bay's game. And actually, he's probably similar to what Boo Carter looks like on offense, but I think he might be even like a step over that. So huge pickup for our Tennessee Volunteers. All right, y'all, this is the last thing that we're going to look at today. These are the players that Tennessee's probably going to end up adding to the 2026 class. Everything is in order based off of what these players play. Dark green with the white letters means Tennessee, like a 95% chance Tennessee's going to end up adding those guys. Light green with the black letters, it means closer to probably like 85+% that Tennessee's going to be able to add those guys. Now, everything is in order based off of what these players play, except for those top two. They're both listed as athletes. So Moa, he can play wide receiver or safety. I've told y'all, I feel like he could come in from day one and fight for some starting time. He's that good. Very, very talented. I think that that's a must-have for this entire class. Really, he's number one on my overall big board of who I think Tennessee absolutely needs to close out with. And then we have Joel White, who could play wide receiver or safety or linebacker or Leo. He could play pretty much anything. Don't know if the staff is going to back off of him playing Leo or what, because he really does want to play like safety or wide receiver, something like that. But I think that he will be added to this class. And then we've got those corners. I feel like Tennessee's probably going to end up adding both of those guys, honestly speaking. And then looking at these tackles, Darrell Rivers, he's going to be choosing on July the 4th. Sounds like he will be picking Tennessee. Darian Albert, he's choosing on the 1st with his teammate, TJ White. They're both four-star guys. Feels like Tennessee's going to add both of them. That's huge. It's going to push us up those rankings. And then we've got guys like Darius Gray. So I don't have a real timeline for him yet. Sounds like maybe over the next couple of weeks, he could be choosing a school. I think Tennessee's in a pretty good spot. I don't know. Haven't seen too much coming out with him here lately, but if he's a guy that Tennessee really wants, like I've stated previously, Tennessee can and will add him to this class. Then we have Brandon Anderson. I'm not sure if Tennessee has the room to add him. That's what the insider said. He actually pushed his day back. He was supposed to be doing something later on today. I'm not quite sure when he pushed it back to, but that leads me to think maybe he is not going to be choosing Tennessee, because I think that whenever he set this first day, Tennessee was his option. So have no idea what's going on, what's actually changed. Did the staff say, hey, we're not sure that we're going to have the room to add you, and, just maybe wait? Have no idea, but we'll be watching that one closely. And then, guys like Braden Rouse, I think he's coming on home. That sounds like that'll be at some point like next week. So his teammate, Joel, and he's going to be choosing on, I think it's the 9th. So expect for both of those guys to choose right around the same time. I think that they're both going to be coming to this class. Savion Hyder, I feel like he's probably going to try to do something maybe before the end of next month. I think that, prior to the season starting, he will probably pick somebody. That's just me personally. Insiders are saying that they're not sure what he's going to do, but we shall see. Craig Tutt, I actually threw him back on this list just because I think that there is a small possibility that he wants to play at Tennessee. Now, we're talking about a lot of safeties being added to this class, which is what I wanted to see happen. But I don't know. If one of these guys chooses first, does it push one of the other ones out? That's very, very possible. And then, of course, we have Tristan Keys. We're just waiting on him to back away from LSU and then open things back up. Once he does that, I think Tennessee's in a good spot, but it will be us and probably Texas A&M at this point to try to fight to land Tristan Keys. But that's pretty much it, y'all. I mean, obviously, this class could end up very, very strong. We just have to close. That's going to be the theme for really this whole daggum season. But that's it for my thoughts. Please share yours with me down in the comment section. And as always, please do make sure to like and subscribe to the channel. We'll see y'all in the next one. Thanks. Peace. Thanks for watching. And please make sure to like and subscribe to the channel because that keeps us growing inside of the YouTube algorithm. And if you did like this video, here's another one that you might also enjoy. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.